Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day regardless of how trashy the market is yet again. Big surprise. You're hearing some sarcasm there because it's real. It's absolutely a thing. It's hard not to be sarcastic in this market here where we get so many false positives and the price just turns itself around. Future reference heads up, we saw some algorithmic trading from Bitcoin here where the price just slowly pumps itself up to 99,000 and then instantly dumps this morning and hasn't looked back. There is some liquidation down as low as about 95K, so just to give you perspective there, there's a decent chance we do see a little bit further downside before Bitcoin bottoms out. So just a heads up on that. And how does that reflect for SUI? Well, its local liquidation has been swept. We may see a bounce, but there's also a distinct probability with Bitcoin likely to come lower that we do see further downside for SUI as well. So again, it's just a lot of one of those, there's a lot of little things going on, and generally best practice to avoid, I would say, trading in situations like this. And we have a few long positions open. Some are averaged out, some are close to break even. For the most part, it's not really a great situation right now, though, to try to keep adding and just keep buying the dips, so to speak. The price action is terrible. This is abysmal trading, and there's just no other way around it. All that being said, what happens next year for SUI? Let's take a quick look and kind of see if there's anything that help us identify some potential shifts in momentum. I can tell you though, based on yesterday's chart, which doesn't look like there much has changed, there's nothing that's going to be like a hidden bullish convergence. It's just like waiting in the shadows to pounce and the price goes straight up from here. That's pretty unlikely. Okay, so if people are kind of telling you that there's some magical pattern that's forming, while that could play out, it's a low probability because everything's bearish, right? So don't attach yourself to like bullish patterns and bearish divergences where it's very obvious that we have a descending trend line. Until we break above that, that's when you maybe want to consider more pattern trading or using that as an influence. Either way, let's look at liquidation on the left-hand side. First of all, SUI last 7 days, we can see 2.5, pretty heavy concentration, about 275. And then, of course, we got 290. Okay, so for the most part, a lot of liquidation on the downside, more closer to the downside than the upside, generally implying we may see the price action continue to pull back. The macro doesn't tell us too much here. Obviously, there's a ton up in the $5 range. We don't need to worry about that. That's not going to happen for a long time. But between now and then, again, these little areas of 275 to 290, those are probably the two biggest areas to consider. Now, uniquely enough here, when we take a look at SUI, we can recognize that liquidation delta is almost break even. Okay, we had more longs than shorts in the market. Imagine that. The price action is basically going sideways and down, and people are still adding to their bag or still taking longs with leverage. So just keep in mind, I get the mindset there, but you should not be one of these persons doing that. If you are, very, very low leverage, okay? If not, no leverage at all, right? The safest play right now is to just basically not trade with leverage. Generally speaking, that's the best call. All that said, though, we take a look here, we can see open interest. Pretty much the heaviest concentration locally is right here at about 310 to 315. So that range that we're in right now is that last line of support. Secondary that will be 295 and then of course 270, right just below that level of liquidation. Again, keep in mind folks, liquidation levels, they occur close to support and resistance levels. They're not in a sense that itself, right? It's more like the cause, not the effect. So I explain that mostly in other videos, but simple way to understand liquidation is that it works kind of like a magnet, and the price action is gravitating towards that. And oftentimes support and resistance levels are also like that too. So you'll see the price bounce. That's why liquidation sweeps occur a lot, because the price hits those levels and turns around. Again, just some friendly advice. Be very careful. Having stop losses right at that level. You want to have them a lot lower than that, just in case the candle wicks comes down and hits you out. All right, anyways, if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out and ask me later. But for right now, let's go ahead and focus here on the important stuff. The entire daily time frame, minus this little 200 SMA at 250, 260, is completely trash. In other words, there's nothing good here letting us know that we're due to continue higher or to bounce from here. Everything looks very bad. Again, most macro timeframes are going to look like that right now for majority of coins, okay? And again, you got to keep in mind, Bitcoin dominance just keeps going up and up and up. And as that continues to go higher, there's no reason to presume it won't, right? All coins are just getting severely damaged. So again, all the more reason to be careful with leverage, and more importantly, just maybe add to your spot as the price continues to go down. And when we take a look here, we can recognize that there is a pretty significant chunk of support here coming up. We're getting close to 30 on the RSI. That's generally construed as a support range. We can see here that we're testing this local support, sorry, the macro support rather, where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now today's the 10th attempt in the last 2 to 3 months to try to break $3.20. It very much looks like that's a very distinct reality. Okay, again, so that's the last line of support there. Pretty much a free fall from there because there's not a lot of volume below here. So we're going to probably be in, local price discovery to the downside, as weird as that sounds, between 230 and 320, pending we close below that. Doesn't mean we're just going to keep going down if that happens. Just know that this is a very, very, very bearish sign, and that there's no reason to, to take a long into that, right? Again, spot bags may be a different story. Add to your position, but still seems a little premature to me. I feel like this coin is just going to continue to bleed out. All that being said, we're still under the 50, the 20-day SMA on the 4-hour time frame. We're under the same RSIs here that are important. Money flow index pulling back, stochastic swinging down. There's zero reasons to take a long position with this coin. 100% verified that we do not take a long position. Okay, we've broken bearish here as well. And if I wasn't, one to be cautious and not take a short position with SUI, I would potentially even recommend it at this point. Pretty much everything is pointing down. There's nothing showing us that we have significant potential for the price action to recover. Even though this coin does recover quickly and has a propensity for that, I don't really see that happening right away. There's nothing here telling me that it's worth taking a long position. So again, pending Bitcoin doesn't dump, I think SUI should be okay. But Bitcoin's right on the edge of sweeping that 95K range. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens here shortly. And if that does happen, we're going to see a run towards potentially the 290 range. Keep in mind this golden pocket area here at about 290. That's the next area of open interest, and essentially just an area of liquidation too. So I think we're probably going to see sub $3 here soon. I hope I'm wrong and the price continues higher, really, but there's nothing here that I like to see. Just keep in mind we haven't closed below that 315 on the daily yet. That could be our last line of defense. It pretty much is. All right, that's all we got here, folks. Sorry, it's a doom and gloom here, right? But the truth is, you don't trade conditions like this. It's generally best to wait. I'll update a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here shortly. If you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this here, where I just kind of give you my insight on where I think coins are going to go next. Just know Bitcoin has a lot of liquidation here close. That could very well dump majority of these altcoins. All right, folks, have a good rest of your day. Look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.